one way to honor God is by honoring the people he has sent. John 5:23, that all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honoreth not the Son, honoreth not the Father which hath sent him. So you can't say you honor God when you have not honored the men he has sent. Every man is ordinary until he's trained. Every man is ordinary until he's trained. Kingdom culture training is what it takes men that will lead nations for God. You're not going to lead nations for God because you are anointed. You're not going to lead nations for God because you are skilled. Am I communicating here? You're not going to lead nations for God because you are a man of God. No, it's because you are trained. You are what? Someone say trained. If you are not trained, there is a level of people you can't talk to. There is a class of people that won't listen to you. The moment they look at you, they say this one is one village rat. Are you aware that there are people that still go for programs? They tell the church, they say, give me about 2 wraps. I don't want draw, I want okra. Make sure you use dry fish. I don't eat oboroko. What I eat is chicken. You are not trained. Now the guy is doing it with his sincere heart. Am I communicating now? But a trained man will not do that. The anointed must be apprenticed. It was the Halbonki that said that. The anointed must be apprenticed. Look at me. Any man that is not following anybody is a dangerous person to follow. Even Jesus had to train his disciples for 3.5 years. Are you with me now? For how many years? 3.5 years. So when God begins to train a church, see it that there is a greater level of honor being conferred on you. Conferred on you. Jesus trained his disciples for 3.5 years. He died, resurrected. After resurrection, he continued the training for another 40 days. So it means a training. John 5:23 says, to dishonor a man God has sent is to dishonor God. You have a media leader, you have a choir director, and then you dishonor them. You have not dishonored them, you have dishonored me that placed them over you. Say, I am more educated than my HOD. To honor God is to honor the people he has placed over you. One of the way God speaks is by the people he has placed over you. Is by the people he has placed over you. Bible says, and God and the Holy Ghost said, why they fasted and prayed, he says, set aside for me what? Paul and Barnabas. So Paul and Barnabas were there, but God had to instruct that they be set aside. Now the word came through the leaders of the church. So God's instruction through your leaders is as valid as his instruction to you through his word, in line with his word. Are you listening to me now? So if you honor God and you don't honor the people he has placed over you, you are a hypocrite. Many people are having problems, they don't know where their problem is coming from. We are dishonoring God and we don't know. Oh, do you think that if God says you are dishonoring me, do you think that if God comes down here, anybody will dishonor him? Then if God says you are dishonoring me, then how are they now dishonoring God? The whole book of Malachi is a book written about dishonor. In fact, even the matter of the tithe, when God began to talk about the tithe, it was connected to dishonor. So if we can dishonor God, do you think we dishonor God because we now see his glory? We say we refuse to prostrate before you. There are little things that communicate dishonor. The way you talk in church can communicate dishonor. The way you leave church to run to a burial can communicate dishonor. Am I communicating here? Somebody say honor God.